Cenk Uygur on Jubilee. I think it's important to look at the way he behaved in these. And now Jubilee, they are notoriously money grubby, so they copy strike everything. So I'm providing commentary where we're going to talk about what happened without actually playing the Jubilee clips. I do have a live stream with me watching the first half if you want to see the whole thing play out, although I'm adding additional commentary and insight here in these videos. And I got to tell you, even with the live, I tapped out halfway in because Cenk was being a typical one-trick pony, relying on the whole 5 or 10%. Oh, right? He kept defaulting to the same sort of conversation shutdown. You know, manipulative tactic, talking over people, trying to bulldoze them. Anytime his behavior was questioned, oh, it's a personal attack. This video is about him and his approach to civil rights. Let's get into it. Now, it started here with Zina. I had not seen her before doing any type of political content. I was really impressed with the way she handled herself. And she was talking to Jenk about DEI. Now, aside from watching Cenk Uygur try to lecture a black woman about the abuses of DEI, which is hard to watch, one thing that we have to notice here is how Cenk Uygur never really answered her question. Dude, he's literally talking to a black woman, and he's about to lecture her about the abuses of DEI. Oh, Lord, have mercy, dude. He literally should be asking her, like, how can DEI be more functional, is what he should do, right? Like, the abuses. Like, really, Shanky? Like, my God, dude, he has no idea what he's talking about. This man... Dude, I'm literally like, the cringe level is so high right now. And I'm feeling like I'm going to pass out, dude, from cringe. I know, dude. The cringe level is like, dude, I'm going to have a cringe-gasm in a fucking minute here. Like, wow. He's going into the abuses of DEI. We now have the progressive thought leader arguing to a black woman about the abusive, the abuses of DEI. Oh, Lord, bro. Again, if the abuses aren't outweighing the benefits, there's no reason to be having this discussion. And then he kind of launched into this whole idea about like, oh, DEI is divisive, which is bullshit. I mean, literally, the experience of people of color and all marginalized people today in society is worlds better than it was in, say, the 1940s when the KKK ran rampant and the women had no power, right? And the only difference between then and now has literally been affirmative action and DEI. Like everything we have that has integrated society and given marginalized people a voice has been due to DEI. So Cenk's entire rampant complaint about it being divisive is just ridiculous. No, it doesn't serve to divide us, Cenk Uygur. Like because racists have an issue with DEI, right? I mean, dude, desegregation. Sir, did that serve to divide us? You fucking dumbass. Like, dude, what the fuck is he doing, bro? It serves to divide us? No, it doesn't. DEI is really important, serves a purpose for people of color, for women, right? Absolutely, for people with disabilities, for people, of the non-dominant gender identity. It serves to help all of them, right? And it's not divisive, but what happens is people who don't want equity for all human beings, they get upset by the existence of DEI. But here's what's funny, Cenk Uygur, is if you get rid of DEI, they're still fucking upset. Okay? They're not happy. They're not working with you on your populist legislation. They're still upset. They just pick a different target. Okay? You get rid of DEI, they're going to go after gay marriage. You get rid of gay marriage, they'll go after interracial marriage. You get rid of interracial marriage, they're going to go after women in the workplace. They're going to go back to segregation. You know what I mean? They literally, like just because people are upset by social advancement doesn't mean you stop the social advancement. Because if you're worried about dividing us, you think we're not going to be divided? Were we divided before DEI when the KKK was running around burning crosses and lynching people, you stupid like, give me a fucking break. You think the division was caused by DEI? There was a goddamn civil war, you stupid ass. Right? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, oh, we're divided. Oh, so that means all they have to do is disagree with us and we throw all the people of color and all the fucking marginalized people under the bus. Fuck you, Cenk Uygur. You fucking dumbass. Like, god damn, bro. Dude. God damn, bro. What? Oh, my God. And then is talk about being colorblind. Like, come on, bro. Only somebody who is white passing or a white man can walk around thinking that colorblind even exists. It doesn't exist. It's a fantasy, as we see here. But you can stop doing that, Cenk Uygur, you fucking asshole. Because if you don't see her as a black woman, you're denying her fucking experience in the world, you dumb shit. Of course, Cenk Uygur, as a white man, says, we got to stop seeing color. We got to stop seeing gender. Yeah, you say that because you're in a fucking space where, like, your color and gender never gets seen, right? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is he talking about? You can't, if you don't see a black woman as a black woman, you are denying her experience in the world. If you don't see a trans man as a transgender man, you are denying his experience in the fucking world. You cannot be colorblind. A white man can be colorblind, right? Because you live in a colorblind world where nobody ever sees your color. If you fuck up, they don't go, oh man, we got to not let the white people in here anymore. We got to not let, like, oh, there's the white on white crime. You know what I mean? You never experienced that. And I mean, he's Turkish, but he's white passing, which gives him some benefits in American society, right? Anybody who's white passing has certain benefits in American society. You can ask mixed race people that are white passing and they notice a huge difference. Dude, this is crazy though. And lastly, of course, it was the other man of color that I saw in this beginning part, the conservative guy who talked about the value of social justice issues. And this is where the trans sports issue came up. And Anna and Jenk and TYT have really been a big fail on the trans issue. And I really want you to hear this rant that I went into about transgender issues and how I feel like trans rights are really central to both the economic policy and to the civil rights policy as a whole. And it's something we just can't ignore. Let's check it out. Here's the thing about it. I look at the trans situation like this, that the Republicans, like, they rode that issue because it was something that they were to make, that allowed them to make large swaths of America fearful that their children were in danger. They do it with trans issues. They did it with gay issues. They do it with crime. They do it with whatever they can, right? Immigration. It's always about your kids are in danger and we're here to protect you and the Democrats are going to hurt your kids, okay? And it's a fear tactic. But the problem is we can't let them continually use fear tactics like that to control the population. At some point, we have to take the fight, right? The same way that we did during segregation. Segregation was a fear tactic. They convinced people that you have to segregate the races because that other race was dangerous and they're going to hurt your kids. And eventually, you got to say, fuck you. Like, we're no longer going to be afraid of this. And we're going to banish this bullshit thing, this bullshit segregation tool, this bullshit divisive tool that you're using to pit people against one another. But Cenk Uygur says we just shouldn't worry about those issues. But yeah, you can say that, Cenk, because you're not trans, okay? If you were trans, or your best friend was trans, or your kid was trans, or your uncle was trans, you would then have, like, you know what I mean? Like, you may be fine, not worried about trans issues, but those 10 trans athletes in college, their whole life is centered around that. Their identity, their sport that they played their whole life. It's very important to them and their families. And you know what I'm saying? It's very important to all the other trans people that are watching them and being like, am I going to not be able to be normal? Am I not going to be able to use the bathroom? Am I going to be illegal in Texas because of their fucking identity fraud law? Like, come on, man. It's like no American left behind, okay? And that needs to be a core policy. Like, fuck you, bro. We're not going to let you disallow people to have civil rights. And that doesn't mean that, like, that still means that the people who are scared of transports and the people who aren't scared of transports can go in and negotiate how transgender people can be included in sports in a way that is equitable, right? Because we should be, seeking equity in the sports world too, right? And yes, very true, because they use trans sports as like, oh, we got to be wary of this trans sports. But then remember how I talked about the shoehorn, right? Remember the shoehorn was like they get medical marijuana and then marijuana's legal. Well, the trans sports is the shoehorn to, like, you can't use the bathroom, you can't get hormones, you can't go to the doctor, you can't get therapy, you can't be trans and live, free, right? It's a fucking shoehorn, all right? It has nothing to do with sports because they don't care. It's not about those 10 athletes, You know what I mean? No, that's not what the far left did, okay? The far left did not say, no, we are all about trans rights. The far left just said, everybody's civil rights are important, man. And so, yeah, we should not, force 10 people to not be able to compete. We should have a discussion about this, okay? Dude, nobody was like that. We were just like, God damn, bro, why are there 500 bills in state houses across the country to affect 10 people? Isn't that a waste of legislative energy? Couldn't we be passing bills for homeless, for guns, for wealth gap, for roads, for policing? Couldn't we repair 1,000 things about this country instead of having 500 bills about 10 people? No, we should protect 10 people from 500 legislative bills. Yeah. I mean, if any 10 people, if you took 10 of my neighbors and were trying to make it so they couldn't have health care, couldn't get medicine, couldn't go see a doctor, couldn't go see a therapist, couldn't participate in normal society, you can goddamn well bet I would go out and fight with my 10 neighbors, bro. Why are you singling out my 10 neighbors to take their shit away, right? Nobody's taking your shit away. Fuck you, Cenk Uygur, you fucking clown. Jesus Christ, bro. You need to wake the fuck up, little man. Jesus. Seriously. Now, again, sum total, I think Cenk Uygur, his failures on civil rights and his failures on recognizing how integral civil rights issues are to both economics, economic populism, and all governmental issues. Every single issue, whether it's the economy, the justice system, the environment, climate change, all of that rests on top of a bedrock of civil rights. And as a supposed progressive voice in the community, Cenk Uygur is nothing but a failure, an abysmal failure on defending civil rights. And I'm so thankful that there were no people like him in the Democratic Party back in the civil rights days, or we'd still be segregated. And now we're in the second civil rights movement, and we need to keep up the fight. We need to steamroll people like him and not let them destroy the momentum created by us and people on the left wing. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.